Alright, so the point of this video is to help you guys understand the flow of what the algorithm is trying to tell us. So we're gonna mind map the movement of the algorithm and really get us all to understand what it's trying to tell us and how we can properly execute on the charts. So we're gonna switch over now and we're gonna take a look at the charts. So this is the start of a string. You see an aggressive drop off. Currently, right now, I'm on a 15-minute time frame. Pretty much, you want to go and identify a string, whatever time frame you'd like. I like to prefer to start on a 15-minute chart and then drop down into a 1-minute chart and kind of look at the structure, and then I eventually execute on the second chart. So right now, we're gonna look at this. We're gonna see we have an uninterrupted string of price here. Price is just falling, and then it finally bottoms out. So we're going to take Fibonacci scale, and we're going to go off candle body high, and we're going to go to the bottom of the wick here. Now we're going to zoom in, and we're going to look at this structure on a 1-minute time frame. Looking at a 1-minute chart, we're going to now kind of follow the flow of what the algorithm's done. So the algorithm has 3 decision-making process areas. The first decision, it needs to go into the discount zone and decide it's finally done bottoming out, which will allow us to set the fib scale. So they create a reversal model in the discount zone. Now the second decision-making process is the 50% level of the Fibonacci scale. That's decision-making 2. And from here, this is where we need to let the first part of the chart accumulate. So we have a string that's been created. We have them made the decision in the discount zone, and they've popped and went to the 50% level. Now, this is where the algorithm needs to decide do they want to go back into the discount zone to get a better price before distributing, or do they want to continue to pop from here and go straight to the 78 level. Ideally, this setup that I'm trying to teach you guys how to use is grabbing a trade from the discount zone and taking it back to the fair value. So we're going to mind map what happened here. So we have a string, price bottomed out, it's been to the 50% level. At this point, the algorithm attempted to grab premium and was struggling to go any higher than above the 50. So it just distributed itself back down into the discount zone. Now, if we look at the discount zone and we think about this is the 23% level, this is the 0, you split that in half, that's going to be the 11% level. Ideally, we would like to see a reversal model present itself at the 11%. Now, as you see, we're on a 1-minute time frame right now, so it's a bit difficult to spot the reversal based off of this picture. You wouldn't really get confirmation until this distributing move right here. So if we were to zoom in on this and look, drop down into a second chart. I'm gonna look at this on a 5-second chart. Back to that area. This is that original string. This is them going to the 50. They made a decision that they wanted to distribute back down into the discount zone to grab a discount. And right here, this is what we are looking for. We're not taking or participating in anything in the front half of the chart. The second half of the chart is what we're actually interested in. So this right here is our money shot play. They created a higher low, stepped up onto the 11% level, and are distributing price. So this is what we want to participate in. First entry is going to be at the 11% level. Stop loss is going to go at the 0. Take profit is going to be at the 50. Now there's a couple of ways that we can handle this or deal with this trade. If you wanted to just be one and done, get out at the 50, the trade would be done with right now. But personally, myself, I like to do limit orders. So I would get into this position right here at the 11% level. I'm going to get in with 5 contracts. I'm going to shave 4 contracts out at the 50% level. So I'll put a limit order of 4 at the 50. Then I'm going to put full TP up at the 78 level. The moment price breaks out from this zone, as you see immediately, we went in profit. As soon as we get above the 23% level, my stop loss is going to come to break even. So now this is a free trade. It's either going to distribute to the 50, or it's going to come back down and it's going to hit my stop loss, which I'm not going to lose any money on because I broke even the stop loss. So essentially, that's That's the move right there that we want to be looking for on a consistent basis. So now we're gonna flow this and see what did the rest of the picture tell us. So they've been to the 50 now, and it looks like they're rejecting the 50. Starting to work their way down. They got a little bit above the 50, and immediately, boom, come back to the discount zone. This would have been at the point of when you get out of your original position. I like to bring my stop loss for that last contract into the money, so I would bring it to the 23% level. So now at this point, I'm either going to make a little bit of money on this last contract, or the price is going to continue to distribute to 78 and give me full TP. So that's what I'm looking for. So at this point right here, they would have took us out of that last contract. Now we're just watching the chart to see what's the rest of the flow, or what they're trying to tell us. Until they break the 0 or the 100 level, this Fibonacci is still in play at the moment. So as you see, we're not interested until they get into this discount zone. And the algorithm at this point decided that they wanted to go back into the discount zone. So the first trade that we took, we would have profit on the day. We would be able to take potentially another second trade. So as you can see here, this is a reversal, again, where they created a higher low, continue to distribute price out. So your entry would have been here, stop loss would have been here, and first take profit is the 50% level. That's what we're aiming for. The moment price gets into this green zone, we're gonna break even the stop loss now. So now we're not gonna. It's a risk off trade. You know, there is no. If the algorithm decides to come back in the discount zone, they're not going to be distributing price at this point. We want to be part of the distribution back to the fair value. So this is where we break even stops, and now we're gonna simulate like we're in the trade right now, and we're gonna wait. And like I said, we're trying to get to the fair value again. Ideally, we would love to see price make its way all the way up to the 78 level so we can get the most amount of money off this trade. But this is the safe take, this is the 50% level. So we got to be patient, we can't be greedy. We got to understand that this is what we're looking for. We're waiting for them to come into the discount zone, give us a reversal model, and then we're taking that trade to the fair value. Safe take the money, be okay with it. So we're gonna simulate like we took 5 contracts here. As soon as it got up into this zone, we broke even our stop loss now. We put a limit order of 4 at the 50% level. And our last contract, which would be your regular take profit, is going to get drug all the way up to the 78 level. And we're going to see what does the algorithm do the rest of the move now. We're just going to continue to just follow the flow. As you see, right here, we would have been out of 4 of the contracts at the 50% level. So boom, we're out of 4. We just won 2 trades now. As soon as this happens, that stop loss is going to go from break even to get moved up to the 23% level, because if the algorithm decides that it wants to come back into this zone, it's, you know, we would rather make a little bit of money on that last contract. You could, in theory, leave it at break even, which your entry would be down here, but we want to make a little bit of money on that last contract. That's why we bring it up to the 23% level, but it does not get brought up until we break and we hit like our first take profit. Now we're just following the flow. So now we have 1 contract still, and like I said, we're aiming for the 78 level. So we're letting the chart continue to do what it needs to do. And boom, did you see that? Now, granted, my fib scale is probably set a little bit off at the current moment, but it made its way to the 78 level. And I always tell my guys, like, don't go right on the money with it. Try to go a couple points under. So at the moment you saw it getting up into here, you could have been out of the trade at the 78 level with that last contract. And that was 2 successful trades. Now the algorithm, like I said, has 3 decision-making process areas. The first one is in the discount zone. The second one is the fair value, which is the 50% level. The third one is the 78 level. So at this point in this model and in this picture that we're looking at, all 3 decision-making process areas have been used. So at this point, we've won 2 trades. We don't need to keep pushing our luck. Can we take trades in other parts of the picture? Yes, but we want the highest risk to reward ratio. You're risking 11% on a Fibonacci scale to make over 40% fair value, and potentially 60 to 70% all the way up to 78 level. So don't be greedy. Don't be, oh, you know what I mean? Just take the trade like I just showed you, going from the 11% level to the fair value, stack those wins, stack that confidence. That's all you need. And that's going to make you a very, very successful trader. And from there, you're going to shut the chart off and you're going to wait for the next string of price, reset the Fibonacci scale again. Ideally, we would want that string to be outside of the current chart that we're looking at. So we would want them to break the 100 or break the 0 level, creating another string either up or down. We would do the same exact process of what I just described to you, and continue to go from the 11% back to the fair value. And that's the trade that you guys need to stack with.